Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcome to this Saturday morning, 15th of September 2018, for live streaming. Erroneously, you think you are in bondage. This is one of the greatest mistakes. You think the door is locked and you have to find the device to open the door. We go on lamenting, praying, "Oh God, open the door. I am at the door, knocking, and the door is closed." Door is never closed, it's always open. It has never been locked, but out of ignorance, out of conditioning, you think that the door is locked. There are prayers. Open the door. Rabindranath Tagore had a beautiful poem where a man, a priest, was asleep and he dreamt that God came in. He heard the footsteps, and like that he goes on. I have heard a king was in search of a minister. He wanted one of the wisest person as the minister. And he was to choose among his subject one who is the wisest of all. When the search finally narrowed down to 3 men, he decided to put them to the final supreme test. Accordingly, he placed them in a room in his palace and installed a lock, which was the last word in mechanical ingenuity. Lock is the last word of mechanical ingenuity. The candidates were informed that whosoever was able to open the door first and come out of the room would be appointed to the post of honor, the Prime Minister. Each one of them was put into a separate room. And as soon as the 3 men were put into the room, locked with a lock from outside, set themselves to the task. 2 of them at once began to work out complicated mathematical formulas to discover the proper lock combination so that they can come out. The 3rd man, however, just sat in his chair doing nothing. He did nothing. He just sat down in his chair. Finally, without bothering about anything or putting pen to paper or doing anything, he went to the door, turned the knob, and the door opened and he came out. The door was unlocked all the time. And he came out and he was chosen as the minister. This is indeed the situation with each one of you. Nothing is locked. Door is always open. You go on pondering upon ways and means to unlock the lock, to find the devices to come out. We use this technique and that technique. People are trying different methodologies, practicing 1,001 things to get out. And in fact, they are already out. You are already out. You have never been in the prison. Unless you stop this thinking business, you will not know the truth of the situation. You have to you have to stop thinking. You are not in bondage. You only think that you are in. That you have so many problems around you. Because you think so and you create a web of bondage problems around you. Just as there is no question. All questions are the creation of the mind. If you sit down and you will find that slowly and slowly the questions start dissolving, the solutions starts coming in, and the life is so simple. There is no difference between Buddha and you as an ordinary person. But ordinary person thinks that there is certainly a difference. Buddha is of a different breed, different quality. It may be that he knows how to trust the existence. Ordinary man thinks that there is a difference. Certainly when you think, then you create the difference. You create your own prison, you create your own locks, you create your own problems. Then you stumble. Then you try to find out the ways and means to get out of them. If in the first place you realize that existence has been so loving, the sun rays, the moon never stops giving you light, the sun never stops giving you warmth, the rain cloud always ready to shower. But you think. Buddhism cuts the knot with one stroke. It says there is no lock, no knot to cut. That is what I mean when I say Buddhism cuts the knots with one stroke of the soul. There is nowhere to go, nothing to be done. You are already there. You are already that. Just open your eyes. And Hindus says, Tat Tvam Asi. Tat means truth. Tvam means you. Asi is the verb. You are already that. think of those great thinkers, they must have been mathematicians, or they have been engineers. Naturally, they inferred that the lock must be of great mechanical ingenuity, and they had to find a proper combination. They started working. If you look at it, many of the diseases are created by the colonizers. They create the fear in the human mind, whereas things are very simple as anything else. For instance, cancer is not a disease, but it is a deficiency of vitamin B17, which is found in many nuts, beans, seeds of the fruits, apricot, watermelon, apple, and we discard these. Prunes. But by creating the fear and creating the solution, they emptied their pockets. For many years it has been propagated that coconut oil is not good for human health. It was the Soybean Growers Association that they created the news. For almost 60 years this news continued. But when you look at they just picked up one point, that coconut oil has a double bond, but it is monolaurine, which is easily consumable. It digests and assimilates in the human body. And then it took, for 60 years, they filled their pockets. Then it was researched that during the 60 years when American soybean growers was propagating soybean oil, the heart diseases skyrocketed. Whereas in the coastal towns of Philippines, southern India, where coconut oil is the staple oil, the incidence of heart disease was very low. Now it is recognized. But again, someone rises to the cause at the instruction of the colonizers. They choose some researchers, some professors who are always on the side of the colonizers to say that coconut oil is poison. So the same way, the doors are not locked, but it has been created the feeling that you are in bondage. You have to come out of the bondage. Think of two great thinkers. Those great thinkers who have been mathematicians, or they must have been engineers. Naturally, they inferred that the lock must be of great mechanical ingenuity, and they have to find the proper combination. They started working. Out of the three, the two, now they can go on and on working for eternity to solve, to unravel the mystery of the mechanical mystery of the law. Do you think they will ever find a solution? There is no possibility of any solution because the problem does not exist in the first place. The problem does not exist in the first place, they are simply thinking. In fact, they will get more and more entangled and create bondages around themselves. They will get more and more entangled not in the problem, because there is no problem, but in the answer that they are trying to invent. This is where you are stuck. Somebody is a Hindu and he is stuck with his answer. Even as a Hindu, someone is stuck in Bhagavad Gita, he is seeking the answers in Bhagavad Gita and is striving to find answers there. One of my friends says, your problems and the solutions of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita have solutions for everything. The same way the Muslims say Quran have the solution for everything, but who is there to interpret those solutions? Somebody is Christian and he is stuck with his answer. People are stuck in philosophies and no philosophy is needed. Life is enough unto itself. It is a mystery to be lived, not to be solved. It needs no elaboration, it needs no explanation, it needs no analysis, it just needs to be lived as it is. But if you become part of the analytic game, then it can go on and on forever. One thing will lead to another, and that to another, and you are in the chain. And because the problem will never be solved, and thus the problem will never be solved, because initially in the first place there is no problem. You will have to go on looking for these answers. Buddhism brings you down to the earth. It says first look to see whether the lock is locked or whether there is any lock on the door or not. But we are in a rush to open it, so without looking, we are looking for our key bunch. It happened once. Someone told at home, the restroom door is locked, it's not opening. Looking for the keys. The key bunch have almost 10 keys, trying one by one. But just go and turn the knob to see it is really locked or not. And it happened, the door was not locked. What the key will do? Door is already open. How can there be a lock on the door of existence? We are part of it, therefore it is going, therefore who is going to lock it? Or what? Who is going to create the problem and for what? We are existence. We are part of it. We are in it. We are it. Seeing this, that there exists a synergistic harmony. There is a power within that knows beyond our knowings. We are not aliens nor as strangers joined. We are bound to each other by a causeless force. We are not dependent. We are not. We are interdependent. We depend on trees, trees depend on us. We are in it, it is in us. Seeing this, one relaxes In that relaxation, a vision arises. This is what exactly happened to the third man. He was not pondering, thinking, analyzing, inventing, or inferring for any solution. He simply sat there in the chair doing nothing. This is what meditation is all about. The English word meditation is not the right word because in English meditation also means to think about, to meditate upon. English has no right word for dhyan to be translated because dhyan exactly means not to meditate upon. Dhyan exactly means not to think upon. Dhyan means not to do anything, just relax and be. In that relaxation alone, things happen. You are waiting for someone. You are thinking that the person should have informed you, should have come, has not come. All the time you are watching the time, your wristwatch. You are trying to call the person and again the call is not going through. Just sit down and wait. It will happen. When you are just silent and doing nothing, your perspective is infinite. Your perception is clear. You can see through and through. Sitting silently in the chair doing nothing, the man could see that there was no lock on the door. He simply went up to the door, turned the knob, and came out. He just remained sitting in the chair, and in that his perspective became infinite. Perception became clear. He could see through and through. Sitting silently in the chair doing nothing, he could see that there was no lock on the door. Such is the experience of Buddhas. This parable is not just a parable, it is an invented one. It is the parable of all the Buddhas. This is how it is. It is not just a story which is invented. It is the condensed experience of all the awakened ones. It is the condensed experience of all the Buddhas. The most essential experience of the Buddhas, that there is no lock on the door. You just sit silently, attain to a state of seeing, purity, no thoughts disturbing, and no cloud of thoughts moving around your consciousness. The mirror is clean with no dust of thought, and suddenly you will be able to see that there is no lock, no door, no enemy, no friend, no death, no birth. You are not to go anywhere or to become somebody, attain to this or that. You are perfect as you are. You are already in the space that is called paradise. Start enjoying it without making a problem out of it. The moment you create a problem out of it, you stop enjoying, you stop living. How can you enjoy unless you solve the problem? And one problem creates 10 more problems. This is ad nauseum. cut the first problem. Life is not a problem. It is simple. It is mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. Go and live life as it is. There is no, and you will find that you have arrived, because in the first place there is no problems. You have created it. You are stumbling because of your own ignorance. You are as perfect as you are. You are already in that space which we call paradise. Start enjoying it without making a problem out of it. The moment you create a problem out of it, you stop enjoying, and you say, how can I enjoy when there is so much problem? How can I enjoy when the world is in turmoil? And one problem leads to another, and the process continues. Life is simple. Live it, be it. It's not a mystery to be solved. It is to be lived. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.